Sarnetta, what happened to Kemet? I thought Kemet was the way. I thought all those debates, endless, pointless debates of Egyptology, Kemet, and so forth. And it's been a whole. Matter of fact, let me see something real quick. Bear with me. Let's just look at some things. Let's see, Sarnetta. So okay, you got Sarnetta, Saren, Sutin, Seti. I wonder what happened to this guy, Sutin, Seti. Let's see. Well, damn. I guess he gave up. Yeah. So okay, 3 months ago, why ancient Kush is greater than Egypt and India, and that's it. And why I bring this out, matter of fact, let me look at this guy's page. Okay, 2 weeks. The hell is all this? Buddha, the black, the Suf. Basically, what I'm getting at is all these debates about Ethiopians and Greek. It's it's another guy always talking shit about Israel doesn't know what he's talking about. You had what's this guy name? Let's just look at. There's so many of these guys. Polite. Here it is. Black power is all about making money and having knowledge of self. Yeah, whatever. Look at this guy, man. Oh man. Oh yeah, damn, Shaka Mos. I forgot about this guy. Shaka Mos. Okay. Yeah, this nigga is through. 5 hours talking about some goddamn hieroglyph. Oh man. So there you go. Just bringing up a couple faces. Yeah, this dude's through. So my point in making this video, this lesson, is about what Sarnetta just said about taking the juice of Esau. It makes me wonder, did Kemet not have or forewarned you Kemites or, you Egyptologists, you Ethiopians, you Nubians or, it's so many different sectors of that madness and that bullshit that, those heresies and those lies, which all goes back to pretty much just making money. But a bunch of he say, she say, never ending pointless debates. And a bunch of slick talking, smooth to your ears, oil, slick. bunch of big saying words. At the end of the day, one thing the Lord did say, let me get that, every work shall come to, what is it? Judgment, I think. Bear with me. All right, so 1 Corinthians 3 and 13. Let me get on this one. 1 Corinthians 3 and 13, it says, all right, it says, so the verse 10, according to the grace of Yahweh, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon, but every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. For other foundation can no man lay that is laid, which is Hamashiach Yahushua. So the point is, you're going to see, and the Lord is going to make, Yahweh is going to make everything manifest in these last days. Who had the truth, who was bullshitting, who was, for the money, who was playing around, and who was serious about this thing. Says, so, pretty much, especially if it's not of Yahushua, this foundation, so if you worship idols, which the epistle of Jeremiah clearly cuts that and talks about how idols are nothing pretty much of what made them come somewhat to pretty much to exist. The existence is because of men's hands. So it says, now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. So pretty much, if everybody, if it's not of the Lord, it's going to come to naught. Let me get that. Come to naught. And what you pretty much you're seeing the crumbling of Kemet. Let me see. Yep, it says Acts 5 and 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. And this is what you're clearly seeing. Because Sarnetta made that statement talking about, here in New York, you can't go in restaurants and so forth. But my thing is, you can fucking cook at home for the time being. And another thing too, Kemet should have forewarned you. The gods, or speaking of the gods, and how they talk, whatever. It should have pre-warned you and got you ready for this day. 1 Peter 5 and 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And we all know the so-called white man is the devil. He's the adversary. And see, that's why the scriptures will always talk for themselves. This was already predestined since the beginning, what would happen. Even going back to the time of Moses, when pretty much the Lord told Moses about the end times. And we're clearly seeing it play out in front of us, as you got the prophecies in Daniel, prophecies in the Revelations, and in Jeremiah, and also in Isaiah, which are coming to life in front of our faces. So it says, John 10 and 10, it says, John 10 and 10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. So Again, Kemet didn't prepare you niggas the way. So I'm the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for his sheep. And we understand Yahweh gave his life for us. But he that is in Ireland, and we understand, the majority, all of those black this and black that, the people, black community, Kemet and so forth, they're all hirelings, man. They're just doing it for money. And not the shepherd who's own the sheep or not, see if the wolf cometh and leaveth the sheep and fleeth. And that's what's going on. You're seeing Sarnetta and these other guys who at one time stood as if they were, somebody's, or they had this warrior spirit and if they was for the people, but you're starting to see that, this for their own belly. And the Lord is making a lot of these things being manifested about how a lot of these guys are full of shit. They don't really care about the people. And that's why the Lord's going to show that, his prophets, that he always dealt and was dealing with the prophets and not you ordinary civilians that thought you were somebody, but you were nobodies. So then leaveth the sheep and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them and scattered the sheep. So what's about to happen, and what's being shown is, these leaders are folding, and their sheep is just scattering away. And what's going to end up happening? They're just going to get worse and worse and worse. They're going to fall upon the wayside. That's why the scripture said, "Let the blind leave the blind." If one fault, if roughly paraphrased, they're going to go into the ditch. It said, "The hireling fleeth because he is an hireling and careth not for the sheep." So, here it is. These guys, they're afraid of dying. They're scared to lose riches, and that's one thing why the scripture talks about money and loving, the love of money, the love of silver and gold, and so forth. That's why they always also talks about, about the rich, because once you see all that money, it's hard to really, stay humble and have that meek spirit. You want more and more and more. Because we actually live in a society in a time where it's hard. It's not, well, I'm not going to sit there and lie. It is hard to really, make money. But the thing about it, as a warrior, as a leader, as a man that cares for the people, it takes more. It takes more than money. You realize that. So, Ephesians 6:11, it says, "Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." And that's if you look into the word wiles, it means tricks, schemes and so forth. But we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and have done all to stand. So, that's why a lot of brothers been sharing that Top Thinkers videos around. Talks about mental 15 signs of emotional weakness and different signs of if you're a strong mind and so forth, because it takes more than just money. You have to have a strong mind, and if the Lord is not dealing with you, you're gonna crumble. And that's how pretty much that's why the elect is going to be made whole and going to make it throughout, be brought forth, because the Lord has coped with our mind and has supped with us. So done with that. Bear with me. And my point, well, not the point, but this is what I wanted to bring forth, is about Daniel, because Daniel was thrown in a pit of lions. And the thing about it, Daniel was the king's pretty much right hand man. But even though Daniel had riches and so forth, he was on the right hand of the king. He still had reverence between the Lord. So we have men we can look up to, and men that we can be likened to. You can put we can have the spirit of Daniel on us. You look at how he stood up, he stood bold, and he remembered his people. He remembered Yahweh and Yahshua. So he chose death. He rather chose death instead of pleasure, but for a moment. So this is Daniel 6:1. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these three presidents, of whom Daniel was first. So that showed you his position, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. So that's very important. So let's believe Daniel had women access to a lot of things, you know. But the key point is, hey, he said, man, the hell with all that. Fuck all that, man. I'd rather die instead of, bowing down to this man and blaspheming the Heavenly Father. And see, and with Sarnetta, with this thing going on now, with the juice that Esau's trying to put in everybody, instead of having some balls and having a backbone and a pair to stand on, and standing on your 2 feet and having a strong mental mind. He's ready to crumble. Just because he can't go to a fucking restaurant. He can't please the flesh and lust. And that's for another thing. That's what makes us have an advantage, because the Lord warns us about this flesh, this lust. And we live in a lustful, fleshly society. Then it said this Daniel was preferred slacking. So then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom. But they could find none occasion, no fault, for as much he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. So, hey, there you go. Here it is. They try to find accusations, but they couldn't find any. So it said, then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his power. So there you go. They saw an account, because they knew Daniel was not going to bow down to the king. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said, thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains, have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree as to who shall ask a petition of any power of man for 30 days, save of thee, O king. He shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, established the decree and signed the writing, that it not be changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which are altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing in the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went to his house, and his windows being open. So Daniel even knew about it, But he said, man, he didn't even care. I'm still going to worship my power. Being open his chamber toward Jerusalem, he knelt upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power, and he did it 4 times. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication for his power. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Has that now the sign of decree, that every man that shall ask a petition of any power of man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast to the den of lions? The king answered, said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which alter not. And take this in consideration today. Esau said, if you don't take the juice, you're not gonna, be able to go back into society. But hey, oh well. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled to the king and said to the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. The king came in, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy power whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace, passed the night fast, and neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living power, is thy power whom thou servest continually able to to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel to the king, O king, live forever. My power has sent his angel and has shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So the Lord delivered Daniel. So Daniel, so that's just showing you the power of the Lord, and why you should have a backbone and have faith. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his power. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them cast them into the den of the lions, them and their children and their wives. And the lions had the mastery of them, and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. So that's pretty much let me see. Yep. Yep, he delivered and rescued and jumped down, and he worked signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who have delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. Well, 25, the king Darius wrote to all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my power men tremble and fear before the power of Daniel. For he is the living power and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be ever unto the end. And these days are ready to come forth, man. You know how the Lord is gonna bring forth his strength and show his power again in these last days. And you're gonna see the power being seen through his men. And that's why, if anybody that's into these other philosophies and these doctrines, you're gonna be made stubble. And Lord's will, I'm part of that number, part of the elect. You're gonna, the Lord is gonna show a marvelous work through his men. He's gonna show that you other men that was full of shit, that disregarded his word, his sayings, the prophets, you're gonna look very bad in these last days, in the days coming forth. With that, Lord's will, you edified, and with that, we say shalom.